Did we steal UFO technology and nuclear bombs to get into space?
Elon Musk has started looking into this project and trying to get information regarding Project Orion. Apparently, he hinted at an Orion-style propulsion in an interview when he said, if we want to go interstellar, we need a propulsion system we are afraid to build.
Yeah.
A real Cold War plan to launch a gigantic spaceship by riding shock waves of hundreds of nuclear explosions. And for a few brief years, the smartest minds in American science believed that this could get us to Mars and Saturn. This week, the Jackalopes will explore Project Orion. Project Orion was one of the most ambitious ideas in all of American history, and maybe even the history of the entire world. This was a genuine attempt to build a spacecraft that could travel throughout our solar system, not within years, but within months. And the concept first emerged at General Atomics in 1957. And this actually attracted what was DARPA is now, or what was ARPA is now DARPA. So the agency declassified memoranda from 1958 and 1959 actually described Orion as having what they termed unmatched deep space capability. Mm-hmm. And this could deliver multi-mission payloads. So you could build a frame of a spaceship to do just about anything you want. This one's could be very specific. We're going to Venus. Give me Venus stuff. We're going to Mars. Give me Mars stuff.
Venus stuff.
Venus stuff. You know, whatever it takes.
Go to the closet. Go get the Venus package.
Go get the Venus box. Bring it in here.
You'll see it. It's in Sharpie.
You know, I think this is the only, you could only come up with this idea in the 50s.
Oh, it's amazing.
This is totally a 50s idea.
But here's the deal. It attracted some of the greatest minds in American thermodynamic physics. So,
and a lot of Germans from Operation Paperclip.
Yes.
It did.
Yes.
But at the same time, that same group, kind of the ones who poo-pooed it, because they wanted the traditional rockets to kind of do the job.
Right, the stick with the fire.
Right. This very specific kind of team of super thinkers, to include Freeman Dyson. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever
The vacuum guy.
The vacuum guy.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty smart guy.
If you really think about it, like, he truly is probably one of the greatest minds in U.S. history. If you know what a Dyson's sphere is, and we've talked about him here on the show.
Go back, find the episode.
He's the one who proposed this idea as being viable and a great way to actually take a civilization farther.
Yeah, next level.
Next level. And a Dyson sphere is actually building a structure around a star and then living on the inside curvature of it. Just like the Earth, it's so big you wouldn't even notice the curvature.
Like Halo.
Like Halo. Yeah, that's probably where Halo got the idea. Dyson sphere's the idea, the theory of it's been around for quite some time. Freeman Dyson worked on this project. He's kind of the mind behind it. Mm-hmm. Another individual named Ted Taylor was a weapons designer at Los Alamos. The backing came from ARPA. Now, ARPA would later become DARPA.
Will it become WARPA now? Because we're no longer defense.
Yeah,
we're war.
War.
So will it be WARPA soon?
I like Warpa.
No comment. So this was just back in the day, in the 1950s. It was the Advanced Research Projects Agency. So these were pretty much the guys who got the funding from the U.S. government. If you had an advanced weapon idea or even just like an advanced scientific idea. So the U.S. Air Force was also kind of behind this, but Dyson and I believe Taylor were very adamant that this not end up a military operation.
Right. They
And-
wanted it to stay totally like
This is
NASA-y,
civilian. Yeah.
spacey.
Exactly. They
Don't get me
wanted this
started
to be
on NASA,
a
but-
peacetime vessel, not a big gun in space.
Using
Peacetime.
nukes.
Yeah, using nukes. Let's use these nukes peacefully.
So what was Project Orion? The reason why we're talking about the nuclear propulsion is because Project Orion was a proposal to build a spacecraft powered by nuclear explosions.
That they stole from the Roswell crash, by the way.
Hundreds and hundreds of nuclear explosions. Now this, and yes, we mean like your nuclear warheads, but the scientists sat around and during the development of this, they made kind of like a little, almost like a pill looking bomb. And it would be on a conveyor belt within the ship itself, and it would shoot this little nuclear weapon out the back.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
It's like a directed charge, but nuclear.
But why? Why did it actually work? Because the ship itself had a buffer plate.
Yeah, it
with
was like a springy
massive-
plate.
Yeah, with like massive shocks on it. So when the explosion happened behind the vessel, the buffer plate would absorb that initial shock, but then it would propel the ship forward.
Yeah, it's like putting a magnet on the on a hook on the front of your car, and then it just pulls it forward.
So real quick, a spaceship would launch nukes out the back or drop them off. They would explode after a certain distance and propel themselves forward, right?
Yes.
This is the most American thing I've ever heard in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love it.
But it's like 1950s, right? It
Yeah.
was $1.5 billion then,
That's just a number.
right? But they said that they could get to Mars and back in 125 days.
Easily.
They're like, we would be back by the time
It's
for
fine.
lunch.
Yeah.
Mathematically, they proposed Mars in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Man.
Imagine getting to Mars in 3 weeks. Saturn, Saturn,
boys.
Saturn is 7 months.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Now, they proposed a 1,000-ton ship could be lifted from Earth in a single launch.
Wow.
Killing everything.
There was a few trade-offs.
Yeah, it's fine.
Now, they also proposed a 10,000-ton interstellar vessel outside of our atmosphere.
Solar Warden, anybody?
So I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Because this was actually the closest humanity ever got to an idea to actually take us around our own solar system. And that's all they were really looking at. Okay. They weren't thinking about traveling to other solar systems and certainly not another galaxy. This was just how do we get to Mars? How do
And
we
do it
get
quick.
and do it quickly within a lifetime so this could be feasible.
Yeah.
Dyson, and I do believe I'm correct when I say this, I watched this massive documentary on this project a number of years ago because I'd never heard of this thing.
Right.
I always thought Project Orion was like this conspiracy that, was on the back burners. But the fun thing is, not only did they receive funding, there are legitimate tests for this plate that you can look up. They ran tests.
I think we have some somewhere.
Dyson, his entire career, said this is feasible. This could actually work. I have theories myself that the United States still has this on the back burner. Should anything happen to the planet
We need to get off the
and we needed to get out of here,
Yeah.
I think this is they would save this for the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Now, that's one conspiracy. I have many more. So what did it really look like? The basic method, you drop small nuclear bombs out the back. It detonates 6 to 100 meters behind the ship. The pusher plate absorbs the blast in milliseconds, and the giant shock wave, the giant shocks dampen that force so it doesn't liquefy the crew, but it shoots it forward. And this could actually be repeated because all of the components, I mean, this was so real. They weren't just like, let's put this on paper.
They really
Let's
built
think
this
about-"
thing.
They were ready to build this thing. They had all their engineers working on this for a number of years. They had a conveyor belt. They re-engineered the warheads, so they're now no longer warheads. Like I said, they were like a pill that just shot out the
So
back.
there is one bad thing. If you visit a planet and say you find other life or whatever, when you're leaving their planet, you're like,
right.
see ya. And then you nuke it all, trying to get out. Dropping nukes.
Sorry.
Because ultimately, and this is what scrapped the project. Ultimately, it's a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is still a massive explosion. Now, Dyson came forward years after the project was scrapped, and he said, hey, we don't have to use those bombs. We can use the cleaner nitrogen bombs now.
Right.
We can switch this up. It's still the same theory. This can still work. But in 1963, a bunch of treaties were signed.
Stupid.
Okay. The Nuclear Test Ban Treaty was signed.
Nuclear bombs in space.
Yeah.
And this, yes, and that was made illegal as well. And so essentially, this killed Orion overnight.
But did it?
But now, seriously, yeah, did it. Because, and remember, Braun and his chemical rockets, you had the Apollo program happening at this time.
Did we?
And that's where the United States really started dumping all of its money. So then they lost funding, the treaties happened, and it was scrapped. Once again, Dyson would talk on this for years. And remember, this man was brilliant, like real certified genius stuff here. Not crazy genius, genius. And he said, this is something that could actually happen. Even going as far as proposing to build the plate out of material that meets a particular, I do believe it's like weight number, atomic number.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because those explosions behind the ship have a lot of radiation. Well, if you make that plate out of particular metals, they would absorb that radiation. So by the time you get to the planet where you're at, you disassemble the ship, and there's your city, and your fuel to power everything is the plate.
Brilliant.
He had all of that worked out, and mathematically, it could all work.
That's amazing.
So, my
He
question.
needs a hobby.
Yeah.
Think about it. This was one of those people that we kind of talk about, but you never get a name to.
Right.
Yeah.
Always in
Right.
the
Like-
periphery.
Always somebody, well, who came up with that idea, or who designed this? These were the guys who did that stuff. These are the thinkers. These are the guys sitting around a table 24/7 talking about these crazy ideas that
Right.
might make a big difference. This was their craziest, biggest idea. There's video of the tests to see if it's even feasible. It's feasible. They designed an entire ship, and this was a massive, massive vessel, living quarters, the proper feed, how to
Place
take
for the Venus package.
all of it. Like, here's your Mars box, head on out. But I mean, Dyson was so convinced of this, he was telling people, we'll be on Mars before you know it. And me and my team are going to get us there. And then it was scrapped.
Or what was it?
Well, hold on.
Now-
When you said it got scrapped, I was like thinking, oh, the military took it over. Now we use it as a nuclear machine gun in space, or
Black budget.
And
Yeah.
Dyson spoke years later that he was discouraged when the Air Force came in because it went from being a civilian operation. It lost its funding. And then the Air Force is like, we have funding.
Right.
Let's
we can
start
do something
talking.
else with it.
And so I can remember, a model of this thing sitting out there. And these Air Force officers are walking around looking at this thing. And this is like old, camera footage. And you can just see it on their faces where they're like, ooh, I could put a gun here. I could put a gun
Right,
there.
exactly.
Because they're military. That's what
Yeah.
they do, right?
Now the
So-
Space Force.
But now Dyson and his team are like, well, it's no longer scientific. Now it's military.
It was cool, but now it has guns.
Now it's got
Now it's
guns.
cooler.
Not to them.
No,
Yeah.
not to
wanted,
them.
They wanted out. They didn't
Yeah.
want to be part of something like that. You
Right.
got to realize a lot of these guys probably worked on the Manhattan Project.
Right.
And
And they're like, oh, man.
yeah. And they were walking around like Oppenheimer, feeling pretty horrible about
Like, oh,
what
they'd
did we just do?
Yeah, what did we just invent? And I know in today's atmosphere of the world and today's climate, we're not as worried about that stuff.
Right.
But I grew up in the 80s.
But we should be.
Oh, yeah.
I think everybody here at this table was alive in the 80s and how scared we were.
Constantly.
We still see ripples from that in older generations about security and all this stuff. You know,
The
it's
Cuban
always
Missile Crisis.
That's because
Yeah, right.
America and Russia, well, we held the world hostage during the Cold War. And
Right.
people don't acknowledge the Cold War like they should.
Right.
I mean,
Because it was cold.
they were
Wasn't even
hovering
lukewarm.
over the button, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we were told that they were.
Yeah.
You know, there are rumors that Nixon in office was like, just push it. Just push it.
What if I just push it a little?
Not all the way.
Down does this go?
Can I just touch it?
He wanted them to think that. He wanted them.
Right.
He wanted everybody to think that Nixie was crazy. You know, he
And
wanted
Russia
that.
the same way.
And
Yeah.
Russia was the same way. They wanted us to believe that, oh, we'll hit that button in a second, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody was living on the edge. I mean, even I in school was taught, get under your desk.
That's going to help you.
Because,
That was just so that they knew where the body
so
was.
they knew it was what, yeah. that's-
100 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't go in.
They can identify who
that
it
is-
was. Yeah.
that is actually why there were seating charts.
Right.
Why you didn't move from your assigned seat, because if we got nuked, we needed to be able to
but
identify.
and this is part of the problem, though. Like, imagine being in 4th grade, right? And they're like, there's a seating chart, and if, you know, we're going to run this test, you go under your desk. And I'm the guy going, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're doing.
Yep.
And then you, like, whisper to your buddy or pass him a note, and he's like, I know.
Yeah.
Duck
Yeah.
and cover, use your thumb, gauge
yeah.
the distance.
And then and then we look at it now and they're like, oh, all of that was total crap.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was just like it's like you know, when in
Social distancing.
chemical warfare.
Yeah.
So
Right.
in chemical warfare, as a soldier, they give you these chemicals that are supposed to just help you out. Right. Well, you got to carry these things everywhere you go, just in case. And then you start talking to some of these guys that work in nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare field, and they're like, "Oh, that's basically just to make you feel good as you die."
It's the oxygen mask
Yeah.
in the aircraft.
Yeah, this is only really there to just kind of ease everything while you pass away, which is fine. I accepted that.
You're like, yeah.
as long as I don't have to
Does it
feel
come
my
with a
skin
lollipop?
blister, I'm good to go. So, basically, the Air Force abruptly stopped all public commentary about this project, seemingly overnight.
That's not a red flag at all.
They didn't really allow any news reports to come out. They weren't answering any more questions. They were like, it's done. It's over. That project's scrapped. Even though they'd invested how many millions of dollars, you're going to tell me that they just threw this in the back and we're going to forget about it. Dyson said years later, quote, if the military wanted to do it, they wouldn't have told me. And
They wouldn't have told anybody.
They wouldn't have told anybody.
Right.
Now, when we look at deep space vehicles, we don't really have any design for this stuff. I mean, what's the best we got? The shuttle?
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, that's not deep space. I mean, the deepest thing we have is the new Orion, which is the only to the moon. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the first.
Of which
step.
we lost the technology.
And
from.
we have a Tesla hanging out somewhere
Yeah,
in space.
there's a Tesla floating out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Actually,
that's it.
yeah, I
We
watched
don't-
the video of that until it lost signal. I did. It
Yeah,
was-
we don't have any. There's no deep space.
There's nothing. So
Or is there?
All right.
why would we scrap that? Even if it was just, okay, let's put this in mothballs. But if, you know, and remember, this is during the Cold War, if something did happen, we can grab this bad boy out and get the hell out of here. At least a handful of us.
Arc
The best
for
and the brightest.
the arc.
The
Yeah.
arc for the
Right?
for the Richie people.
Now, there's absolutely no evidence for this, of course, but
Or is there?
I mean, some people feel. Now, this is a conspiracy. Some people think that the Black Knight satellite is actually a remnant of this program.
Oh, like a
That
blade or
it
something?
was
I like that.
that's Orion, And it's not up there monitoring you. It's up there in case shit hits the fan and we
just got to get to it.
So then you get to the Black Knight satellite, fire it up, and get out of here. That we literally just leave it orbiting Earth.
Nice.
Doesn't matter if anybody knows about it. Doesn't matter if anybody sees it. Just don't acknowledge it. That's the Ark. The Ark is there. It's been there for
How
years.
did I not see that in my research? That's amazing.
And it's ready to go.
Well, the kind of cool thing about that is, like, if it is nuclear powered, you can just let it sit there
Forever.
and it would be ready to go. Yeah, you don't have to go up there and like refuel it, maintain it. If you're not using the fuel,
Right.
I mean, it'll decay gradually over time, but
How much time?
yeah,
This is thousands of years.
exactly, yeah.
So you put this thing up there. Even the astronauts who come back and they're like, "There's a thing up there." Just be like, "Yeah, we don't know what it is.
And that's what they say.
Leave it
Yeah.
alone. Yeah, just
Don't look at it.
We don't touch it either.
Yeah.
We don't talk about
But
it.
you've got it there just in case you need it. And if you don't, so what? Another conspiracy actually says that NASA reconsidered Orion in the early 2000s. There have been some leaked PowerPoints from NASA. I have not laid eyes on these and I couldn't find them. Okay. But supposedly a future propulsion study mentioned nuclear pulse drives. There's no proof of this that I could find. Okay. But the theory claims that Orion was briefly reviewed post 9/11 under Project Prometheus.
Ooh, I like that name.
And this was a modern Orion that would use low fission pulses, okay, like just bursts of nuclear pulse
Scramjet engine.
instead of the big explosions. So somebody building on Dyson's theory going, okay, we don't need
we
the
can make it
explosion.
better.
We can make this better. So then we just put this pulse engine behind and it's blasting, nuclear radiation behind it, but you're in space. It doesn't matter. It's all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll get you out of here. So that was actually proposed. Once again, allegedly, there's some leaked PowerPoint presentation. I wasn't able to find it. Conspiracy theory number 4 that I found was that Russia actually tested an Orion-like device. Some analysis believe that the Soviets tested small nuclear pulse propulsion prototypes in the 1980s. A few seismic signatures actually match the same tests that we were running over here. And so people sat around and they were like, these aren't regular nuclear tests.
Right.
We think they're also developing something like this on top of it because apparently it leaves like a different type of signature. Again, not confirmed, but it is something worth looking at. The last conspiracy that I was actually able to find is that Elon Musk has started looking into this project and trying to get information regarding Project Orion. Some claim that
He's the guy to
Musk-
do it.
right?
Yeah, right.
Apparently, he hinted at an Orion-style propulsion in an interview when he said, if we want to go interstellar, we need a propulsion system we are afraid to build.
Yeah. So
I like it.
So I think
Yep.
Orion was okay if we maybe didn't engage that drive of nuclear bombs until like we're past the moon or something.
Right. Use
Like we don't do it
conventional-
next to Earth.
Yeah, conventional stuff to get out of Earth.
Conventional.
Right.
We're
And then-
past the moon, and then we're back, and then boom, boom, boom.
So the thing that I always really like to think is, let's say the Earth, like we're past the point of no return, everything's going to hell. I imagine at that point, the world government, the UN or whoever would come together and say, well, it doesn't matter if
It's
you have
screwed
resources, I have resources, so let's just dump all of our resources into this one project and get out of here. I like to think that would happen, but someone's going to be like, no, I'm going to charge you this.
Yeah.
You're like,
Or-
what are you going to do with the money? It doesn't matter.
No, I'm just going to do it on my own.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Maybe.
But at that point, what do space treaties actually? They don't.
They
no
don't-
one cares about that
at the
at that point.
when the whole world had come together just to save the species.
Yeah.
I like to think that we'd
we
be
don't
able
care
to do
about
it.
nukes in space at that point.
Well, and I think again the climate of the world when Orion was initially being developed was so anti-nuclear war, and
Right.
Oh, totally, yeah.
as it should be,
right.
as it should be, that anything because I can remember watching videos of like this. Oh, it's a nuclear age, and then all of a sudden Chernobyl, and then all of a sudden 3 Mile.
But wasn't there
We're getting back to that.
There was a little kid's little like science fair.
Yes, the most dangerous toy
that
in
had
the world.
actual radioactive material in it.
Yes,
But soon, every military base, again, will have a nuclear small little power plant on it
Yeah, like submarines.
to power it. So we're coming back full circle to that nuclear
well,
age.
and I think technology's come a long way, and I'm not saying that a meltdown isn't possible. I think it could be possible no matter what. The meltdown's a meltdown. But if you look at certain events,
I know I've had a nuclear meltdown here.
I think the majority of all meltdowns were human.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there were
Human error.
There were other factors like Chernobyl was a bad design, no safety culture at all,
Right.
and a bunch of Soviet level stuff going on.
Just sign your name. Don't even look at it.
yeah, and then the Japan one had some issues there too that were not
Well, it was like
necessarily
a tsunami, right?
Yeah, and they built it next to the water.
In
And,
my opinion, look, I love the Japanese. I absolutely love them. But what a stupid place to build
Yeah.
a goddamn nuclear
Yeah.
weapon.
Put this right on the
Or
Pacific
not
Rim
weapon,
fault
but a
line.
power plant.
Yeah,
Right.
so neither of
What the
those were
hell?
really inherent dangers of the nuclear power itself. They were just like if you don't take other precautions around it, then other things
Exactly.
can happen.
Right.
So yeah, I think we've come a long way since Chernobyl. for
I'm
sure.
not as
I would hope.
I'm not as afraid. Like people are like, well, would you live next to a nuclear power plant? You bet.
Well,
That doesn't bother
Wyoming,
me
we're
now.
getting
Yeah,
a
we're
new
getting one.
style.
We're getting one now.
Huge nuclear
Yeah.
power plant that's a new style that hasn't been used.
So we're talking about all these treaties, right? So 1963 partial test ban treaty, which prohibited nuclear explosions in space, right? In space, not in Antarctica.
Ooh.
So the conspiracy goes that who owns Antarctica?
Nobody.
Nobody.
No one and everyone.
Per treaties.
Right? It's all these treaties. So under the guise of a geomagnetic storm, God, wow.
You'll get
I'm
it.
going to drink my lunch. They actually launched this in 1964, the year after the partial ban treaty.
Okay.
From Antarctica.
So they actually
From
launched.
McMurdo Station, the ice shelf muffled the detonations, and it was done under the guise of this solar storm so that you couldn't see those patterns that they picked up in Russia.
and then we melted the polarized caps.
So it was all
You're right.
it was blended into the natural radiation in that area anyway.
Exactly. Another theory, and it's one of my favorite, is that it went black budget, that it was a much larger version using captured German engineering from Operation Paperclip, which I said before, and that it was actually the core of the interplanetary transfer fleet.
Wow, okay.
And that's where Solar Warden came from.
Yeah, because there's a ton of stuff you'd got to get into orbit and out of orbit to have Solar Warden even be feasible. And how
And
else
this would
you
be
do
a
it?
great way of doing it
And
because
see,
you can
that's-
And hiding
transport
it.
heavy shit with these explosions.
And those launches aren't going to be noticed from somebody in his backyard
Right.
looking out with his binoculars so they're too far away.
Yeah.
Exactly. One also was that the whole reason that they had Orion was it was meant to reach an extraterrestrial beacon that was coming from the Zeeman crater on the moon.
Interesting.
Oh, nice.
Where the
Weird.
facility
we were just talking
was.
about that.
That was the last episode, actually. So a signal was detected coming from Zeeman crater on the far side of the moon. The frequency contained mathematical harmonics indicating intelligence, and Orion, being a brute force nuclear pogo stick, essentially, was designed to get there fast before the Soviets because they picked it up too.
So we
Interesting.
launched this to get to that signal,
So it wasn't for exploratory, it was for retrieval.
and that's why the program went forward so fast.
So fast was because
Maybe
it wasn't just the space race like who can get to the moon, it's who can get to this beacon.
to get the object to get back.
Something leaks, and so they officially say, "Oh, well, we scrapped the project."
Yep.
Or they got it done, and then actually
Said
scrapped the
scrapped
project.
it and went black.
Yeah.
because we can't come out publicly and go, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
There was a factory up there, and now there's a beacon, and we have to go.
Interesting.
Yeah, they don't want to do that.
News at 2.
Yeah, right. Film at 11. That another one, which I like this too, designed to reach a rogue planet that was detected in 1958. We detected an anomalous object beyond Neptune in the late 50s, and its infrared signature didn't match any kind of planet, asteroid, or comet that we were familiar with. Some said it was an artificial megastructure or a derelict craft, much like 3i Atlas.
Interesting.
Hidden deep space nuclear refueling programs. 6 Orion vessels were actually quietly completed between 60 and 72. They were never crewed. Instead, they're up there as stockpile depots, early warning sensory arrays, or platforms for testing further zero-gravity nuclear pulse reactions. So feeding in kind of the
Prometheus.
Black Knight satellite Prometheus. So I don't know.
You know, okay, so we did a big show on Solar Warden.
Yes.
Now, Solar Warden is my favorite conspiracy theory because it takes kind of all the other UFO / reverse engineering theories and pulls them all down into one thing, right? Because one thing that I always ask myself whenever you look at a conspiracy theory is, what's the goal? And is the goal of the project worth the money, the resources, maybe harming other people to keep them quiet? Is it worth that? Solar Warden,
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. So if Orion is moving forward, it's actually part of Solar Warden, but it doesn't even know it yet.
Right.
Okay, because it's Orion. It wasn't, I don't think it was until the 80s when Solar Warden got the thumbs up from Reagan, who said, you know what, you guys can do it, do it.
He wasn't afraid to spend the money to do it.
No, I don't think he was. I think Reagan saw the danger of that nuclear possibility, right? And so he was like, we need this for us, all of us.
The word Prometheus means forethought.
Yeah.
Like thinking
ahead.
Yeah.
So you've got all these geniuses running around going, nuclear is the best possible way to get this done. Until someone comes along and goes, yeah, but we picked up this reactor from a crash around an Arizona area and New Mexico,
47.
and there's a couple of them now, and we're reverse engineering that. We got a better engine now.
This is such a perfect segue into my spiciest one.
Real quick. Speaking of that, today there's an Amazon Prime show. I don't remember the name. It's coming out today. It's a documentary about, has Marco Rubio, has government officials in there talking about how right now there's a Manhattan-style race to get to these UFO crafts, disassemble them, and use this equipment faster than the other countries can. And that is secretly happening, supposedly, right now. I haven't seen it, but supposedly that dropped today.
So what if, say that there was a crash in Roswell in 47, and we retrieved technology kind of like this, cleaner version, so we're not detonating nukes necessarily, but it's nuclear powered, that it uses sub-kiloton clean nukes, creates propulsion without visible flashes, leaves no chemical signature. That would give us things like the TR-3B, right? That everybody sees. But what if this project actually started in the 50s and the actual ship contained, the one that we built, 12 cryogenic status pods designed for long duration missions and was built by a division of General Electric with help from the former Germans. And it wasn't that the pods were for human biologics, but for non-human biologics that we had to return to where they came from that crash so that they didn't come here looking for them.
I like that idea.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that too.
I was like, huh. I went like way deep into some, it's like the perfect conspiracy like website. It's black background with like yellow or red writing, you know, and I'm like,
It's very
looking,
bold.
It's like a cheap ass
like
font.
my eyes. And this guy was like went into all this detail about how Orion wasn't for us. It wasn't exploratory. It was to return the beings that were still alive from that crash.
We better get them back.
We got to get them back home.
My argument against that would be send a car.
Yeah, right.
If you want to go home, it's going to cost me everything I got.
We didn't want them coming here to retrieve them.
Right.
Was the thing.
Yeah.
They were like, look.
They must
like,
have had big teeth.
You don't want me to tell Dad about this, right? Like, just get us home.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they didn't. They weren't
One-way
supposed to crash
ticket
here.
home.
Well, so, you know, teenage
Yeah.
aliens, you know,
I wrecked
joyride the
wrecked
UFO.
yeah, wrecked the family
They
car.
wreck it, right.
Yeah.
And they come home with a cooler new car. Dad might not be so mad.
Right.
See, that's interesting. You never really know, you know, like the absurdity of some of this stuff.
Right.
Because every time you think that's too absurd,
It
that
happens.
wouldn't happen. All of a sudden,
Look
they're
at
like,
2025.
Oh, no, dude, well, pigeons guiding missiles.
Right.
For years, everyone's like, that's insane.
Yeah.
It worked. We did it. The Russians actually used to train dogs to run underneath tanks and lay down.
And lay down.
And then they started strapping bombs to those dogs to run under those tanks and lay down. And you're like, that's too horrible. No one would do that. Oh, they did it.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy cow, man. Like, we had cats that could spy. We had,
spy
I mean,
cats.
it's amazing the lengths that we went to, especially during the Cold War. War. So some absolutely absurd thing like
The heart attack gun.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
It's an actual thing.
And you go,
yeah.
a heart attack, okay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, well, here's the blueprints and it works.
here it is. And it works.
The Havana syndrome, stuff like
Yes.
that. But
Yes.
whatever DARPA's working on is 20 years advances of what anything that we can even fathom.
Oh yeah. Every time you think, you know, oh, this sci-fi programming, this is just that'd never happen. Oh, they're way beyond that.
Oh, wait.
Believe it or not, you know, and I think my one concern for all of humanity isn't will we survive? It's who's in charge of it.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of that stuff that could actually save us if anything horrible happened to Earth? You know,
And save us.
and save, yeah, quote unquote us,
Air
right?
buddies.
Yeah, because it ain't gonna be regular folks like you and I. Which, look, I would accept my lot in life. I'd be like, okay, you got the best and the brightest on that boat. All right,
Yeah, well,
best of luck.
according to who?
You know,
Best and brightest is the most
yeah.
wealthy.
that's what I'm saying. It's like all of a sudden is, you know, the future of humanity like an Outer Worlds thing, you know, like that video game where capitalism is so over the top. It's just miserable. It's just a horrible existence unless you're in the tower.
Yeah.
And that isn't a great hope for humanity, in my opinion.
Right.
That's honestly one reason why I don't want Musk to be the first one to land on Mars, because there's no law.
He's going to take over NASA.
There's no one
He's
calling
gonna,
the shots.
He's going to take over NASA.
Like if you're a private entity and I land on a planet, guess what? Come fight me for it, bro. This is mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have my flag ready.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm doing
Mine.
I'm doing
Called
what
it.
I want.
Called
Licked it.
Licked it.
Yep.
Stamped it.
Double
Double
stamped
stamped it.
There's no such thing as international law up here. There's no such thing as world law up here.
There's nothing.
My law.
Well,
up
the thing
here.
is, I paid for it, so what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Even if we go by the law, it's mine.
Come and take it.
Yeah, and again, come and take it. What are you gonna do? So that's my fear of the privatizing of space exploration. You know, I often talk about like the idea of you're born into this system. You don't get to leave it. They make you think you can, but where are you gonna go?
Filing taxes from
Some-
Mars.
You're gonna go somewhere else and fall into their system. It's just all control, right? And imagine that getting worse and worse and worse with each passing generation. And you could look at it however you want, whether it be like capitalism, taxes, government control, whatever. Someone's always going to be stepping on the little.
Will we be paying taxes from Mars?
Yes.
You might.
Tune in, find out later.
It's gonna be. We just landed on Mars. Let me walk out. Okay, this Mars landing brought to you by Jolt Cola.
So, yeah, we're already paying taxes for Mars. In all honesty, I think what happened, Orion went forward, but I believe they found a better reactor. They reverse engineered some stuff that they found in New Mexico, and somewhere in the 80s, I'm putting it in that time frame. Somewhere in the 80s, this idea and maybe even a finished product was presented to the president. He saw its value. He said, "Build me more," and now we have Solar Warden traveling around space. A lot of the vessels that we see are ours, but we don't know that actually exists.
Right.
And once again, my only beef is this. How do I get on that ship?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said in
100%.
the last video, I will mop your floors.
Yeah.
So you think we're using some form of not Solar Warden, Project Orion to this day?
Yes.
Do you think we're still using something like
No,
that?
I think it never made it past the design phase.
Okay. I think that the military took it over and we have it used or ready to go for something else.
Oh, it went forward.
It went
and
forward.
we're totally using
It went forward with a bang.
it. Multiple nuclear bangs.
But you know, with the way that the government hides all the zero gravity
Uh-huh.
inventions that people have had through the years, you should look that up, folks.
Patent killers.
Patent killers. I think that they were like, we don't need all these explosions. We don't need
No,
that.
we found this now.
We found this now.
Yeah.
It's just like the cell phone. You know, you got 50 different inventions in that thing that were scrapped the minute that became what it became. All of a sudden, now we don't need this garbage.
Hey, and I do have a calculator in my pocket.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly. But now, I mean, you don't have watch calculators anymore.
Right?
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's on your phone.
Yep.
Like
Nerds.
certain
Nerd.
things, they get scrapped, which is fine. Palm Pilot,
Oh,
Yeah.
gone.
right?
Camcorders.
Gone.
It's all in the phone.
It's all on the phone. And so I think that probably happened. Where
Brought to you by phone.
The all-in-one, everything.
News readers next to the toilet.
With an
Gone.
optional nozzle for extruding meat.
That's next.
Yes.
the nozzle meat. All right.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends, do
Comment.
all the things, mash all the things that help us out.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Did we use this or not?
What do you think about Project Orion? Was it did it ever actually make it out of the design phase and the testing phase?
See, I think it made it out of the design and testing phase, and it made it out of the solar system.
So do I.
Okay.
I think so too. I think it's just we didn't use the engine that they originally designed it for. I think we used a different one. What about Black Knight Satellite? Is that Project Hail Mary
Man, I like that
in
one.
waiting? We don't talk about it. The government won't address it, but it could be our backup plan if anything horrible were to happen, just to save the species. Who
Yeah.
knows?
We'll find out more.
You've been watching Jackalopes Explore.